head on down to houseofdecline.com and patreon.com/House of Decline. Go there right now. Click on it. This is the call to action. For money. Give me money. You get more stuff if you give me money. Do it. Patreon.com/House of Decline. That's HAUS of Decline. All right, on this episode, we have returning champion, three-time champion, the House of Decline podcast. It's Dono from the Radio Free Tote Bag podcast. How are you, Dono?
I am super. I am so super. And I just want to say, if people don't go to patreon.com/House of Decline, I got a rock right here. I'm going to throw a rock at you. How's that sound?
Got excellent aim.
That's actually a lie. I'm fucking awful aim throwing things.
No, that's not true. You got the aim of the Irish.
Yeah, no, right. I forget this sometimes. Yeah. It's my culture.
Yeah, very good archers. Very good archers in the Irish. That's what nobody talks about.
Absolutely.
Because archery is long dead. The art of archery is long dead.
You know what? It still lives in our hearts.
Yeah, it still lives in our Irish hearts. Joe Biden, amazing archer, but he'd never crow about it.
He can do the handstand, or he's holding the bow with one foot and pulling the string with the other foot. That's a fun fact about him.
Yeah, he's very flexible. We're caping for Biden now. We're huge Biden heads now. It's based Biden. He's got glowing eyes. We're gonna Photoshop him with laser eyes.
I could shoot that apple right off your head, Jack.
Yeah. He's using his Irish archery abilities to use his Dark Brandon laser eyes. We're bringing Dark Brandon back. It's been 7 months, but we're bringing it back. Did you see the footage of him coming out in Ireland to shipping up to Boston?
No, holy shit.
Brandon's doing his Irish tour. And
do they like the Dropkick Murphys over there, do you think?
I think Biden's PR team likes the Dropkick. Yeah, they probably, I don't know. I should pull the Irish. I should go around to every Irish person I know and say, hey, do you like Americanized Irish stuff? Are you House of Pain fans? Does that translate over here? You know?
How do you feel about jumping around up our... Yeah, if you're Irish and listening, write in the comments or in the Discord. Tell us if you like shipping up to Boston.
The one thing I do know about Irish taste is in Ireland, Rodrigo y Gabriella were very popular. For some reason, they really hit well in Ireland. I don't know why.
What's their big song? That name is familiar.
They were a guitar duo. They did rapid flamenco guitar covers of stuff, and okay. They were very skilled at their instruments. But for some reason, they got big in Ireland. I don't know what caused it.
They're archers on the side, and that kind of gave them the culture and the community there. Yeah,
you've seen those Robert Rodriguez movies. You know, all guitars turn into some sort of projectile weapon.
This is true.
I would love to have a gun guitar. You know, I'm not a gun guy, and I know this is Reddit or soy or nerdy or whatever, but I would pay top dollar for a gun guitar. It would sound like shit. I imagine it would have a very poor resonance.
Every time you fire, it just goes straight out of tune.
Yeah,
the pegs are too hot to retune it. You got to wait 5 minutes.
Yeah,
very impractical, but very cool at the same time. It's like a Chrysler or a Plymouth Prowler. Remember that car?
No, I don't remember that. What was the Plymouth? Describe the Plymouth Prowler.
Look up a Plymouth Prowler. This was like a '90s sports car that Plymouth, former brand under Chrysler, made. It looks like a wedge. It looks like an old hot rod.
Rules.
It does.
Awesome.
It does.
I have the exact type of poor taste that would totally go for this car. I'm like Bart Simpson at the end of the the end of the episode where Homer designs the car, where he says, "I thought your car was pretty cool, Dad.
Yes.
I think this lame ass car is pretty cool."
It's super dangerous if I remember correctly, but if you're listening, you're if you ever had Hot Wheels as a kid, this was prime late 90s Hot Wheels toy. I just saw one, which is why it's on my mind. I don't know how they're still out and about.
The Plymouth Prowler community is big. We in the Plymouth Prowler community, It's this car. It was sort of misunderstood when it came out. We saw the beauty of it. It's shaped like a wedge. It's shaped like a doorstop, and that reminds me of usefulness. And
it wedges its way right into your heart. That's what we say here in the Prowler community. We're wedgies. We're wedgies in the Prowler community.
Yeah, we're proud wedgies. We go on Facebook, on the wedgie Facebook groups, and we make our Prowler memes. We make our memes about, I would prowl you. That's one of them. And it's in big impact font, how memes are, or how memes used to be, back in the good old days,
The good old days, indeed. I guarantee that community's out there. I guarantee there's some good
Plymouth Prowler memes. I'm looking it up. Plymouth Prowler community.
I'm looking up.
Here we go. Facebook Plymouth Prowler enthusiast.
Yes.
It's a bunch of people talking about Prowler maintenance.
I looked up Plymouth Prowler memes, and I'm seeing one that it's side by side with the PT Cruiser, another Chrysler product, and it says coincidence? I think not.
The PT Cruiser is like a much uglier car than the Prowler. I would 100% go for the Plymouth Prowler over the PT Cruiser any day.
I'm down to Prowl for sure. Last one, there's one of them car bras that you have on like the front of a car or whatever to protect it. I don't really know what those are for, but it's just on the little skinny wedge part, and it says just the tip. Good stuff. Good stuff coming out of the Prowler community, Alex.
Oh my God. The Prowler community is making just the tip jokes. They're like Archer. They love lovely Archer jokes from the first season of Archer. A show which is still on, by the way, and seems like it shouldn't be. Yeah.
Has it been unbroken, or did it take time off and come back or something?
I think it might be taking time between seasons, but it's just like one of those shows that you take for granted is still on. Just like, did you know they kept making Squidbillies up until 2022?
No, holy shit.
Oh yeah,
I watched that.
And Squidbillies but it's like the funniest fucking thing though. So the lead guy in Squidbillies said a bunch of stuff critical of BLM, so they fired him. In the last season, it's Tracy Morgan as the voice of that character. And I haven't seen any clips from the Tracy Morgan season, but that's funny by itself.
Shit.
I think
no kidding. I watched that in college in like, I don't know, early 2010s.
Yeah.
Would never. Archer, it's like, yeah, okay, it's got a pretty good mass appeal. It makes sense that it would be on for a long time. I don't see Squidbillies as like a household, old reliable Squidbillies. And
yeah, we keep getting the goods. People keep buying the Squidbillies merch. They keep buying the Squidbillies hats. It's got a loud and vocal fan base. It's like the Arliss of Adult Swim. It's just for some reason, even though it has no universal appeal at all, there's a small vocal Squidbillies contingent. They're like the Fireflies brown coats, except I guess they'd be called the Squid Heads or something like that. Big
overlap between the Squidbillies fandom and the Chrysler Prowler Facebook community, by the way.
Yeah, I'm
huge overlap.
Seeing a lot of Squidbillies memes on this Plymouth Prowlers page. It is just bizarre to see people. Here's a Plymouth Prowler with lighted grille and undercarriage lighting from Danny Ross. And this Prowler looks great. This is so fucking cool. It's got 43 likes. Dan Carter says, looks awesome. What system did you go with? Dale Hayden says, very nice. Roscoe P. Coltrane says, I'm 6'3". I had a Viper and fit snug in it with no issues. Anyone my height drive a Prowler? So this is for the tall Prowler heads. You know, they want to get into Prowlers. Yeah.
Another big overlap. Tall Squidbilly fan Prowler heads. I've got the perfect meme we could like take over that community with. Get this. It's a Plymouth Prowler, but instead of the fabric top raised, it raises up a hat that says Booty Hunter on it. Can you imagine? We go feral for that shit.
That would be amazing. You need also, you need I think there would be one where you just have like it's covered entirely in bumper stickers. It's Romney Ryan bumper stickers. I think that would be one. Everyone likes inconsequential defunct political campaigns. That's like one of the favorite kooky things that people have been doing since the 90s, like Dukakis, like having a Dukakis button.
Oh yeah, give me a fucking Ron Paul sticker.
Yeah.
2009 Ron Paul Revolution stickers. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, that's great. Here's a post on the Prowler page. Ron Snyder. I was wondering who has the lowest mileage Prowler. Mine has 3,100 on it.
Damn.
That's low mileage.
It's a 2001. At least I think that's like the first year of it. Damn, this guy's just like got it in his garage. It's like a once a year thing for him. He goes out on the he calls it going on the prowl. His wife knows not to bother him the day he's going on the prowl.
Yeah. You just feel like you feel so much more powerful in your Prowler, you know. You feel like I guess it is vaguely phallic.
Yeah, a little bit.
Maybe not.
There's a little bit of a head to it.
Yeah, maybe I just see dicks and everything. But it sort of reminds me of that Family Guy joke where Peter gets penis envy of Chris, and then he buys the really long penis-like car to compensate.
And that car was a Plymouth Prowler.
Yeah, that car.
And that's all the material I have on the Plymouth Prowler. That's all I came prepared with.
Is it a car that has become synonymous? The car that is most synonymous with failure has to be the Aztec, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I feel like that one's gotten some love since, though. Like, I know there's kind of PT Cruiser came around a little bit to people not entirely hating on the way that they used to. Mm-hmm. The Aztec like came with like an optional tent or something you could set up at the back. I watched a whole video on this at some point because that was my old fixation. Cars before planes and now paleontology, because I am a 5-year-old child.
You are a 5-year-old. Yeah, you're just living out your 5-year-old dreams. I was into cars, then planes. Dinosaurs. Love dinosaurs. I was never. What were my interests as a kid? I was just reading New Yorker cartoons as a kid. It was
what the
stupid.
Fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. That's how you know I'm not like you. I have cartoons on the mind. I was.
I'm not like the other kids. You're playing your Super Nintendo. I'm submitting for the caption contest.
Yeah, I loved the caption contest. Never got one in. No.
Damn.
I wasn't just New Yorker cartoons. It was all the cartoons. That was my fixation as a child. It was not dinos. Did you have a dino fixation as a child?
I did. And then it went away forever. And then at the beginning of I'm very sincere about this. I love paleontology and natural history.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the pandemic, I got Animal Crossing, like so many people. And one of the things you can do in that game is dig up the fossils and you go in the museum and you build out the museum. And I had to look up like what all those critters were that I was digging up. And then I was like, wait a second. This stuff is really cool. I forgot how neat it is. And there's like so fucking much that's been around. And then I'm going to museums. I've had a couple like YouTubers on the bonus show for our show who do. There's like a surprisingly big natural history community on YouTube and Twitter. Mm-hmm. Also a lot of overlap with the trans community. Very fucking cool group of people. And I don't know. It has the trope of being like a 5-year-old thing, but I could talk your ear off about it.
It turns out some of think about geometry people. Think about people that get their PhDs in geometry. They're into shapes, you know?
That's true. We're fucking way cooler than them.
I'm into fucking cartoons. I posted a Steven Universe comic today. I'm 33. I shouldn't be talking about Steven Universe. What am I doing? It's all right. It's
it was popping off. People were loving it.
Yeah, I could talk about Steven Universe. I think it's funny that there is that criticism of Steven Universe that he's a fascist excuser. That's like what?
I've never seen the show. I only know like the Cowlart's bean mouth shit that people say.
Bean mouth.
I've heard there's like good gender representation in it, but I don't know anything else.
It's fine. It's like I liked it a lot. I watched it. It has good animation. There are some genuinely great jokes in it that I laugh at. I like how it's composed. I like how it's colored. I like how the music is great in it. It has a really good arc. It's a Jesus arc. It's about a little child Jesus who dies for our sins and then comes back.
Wait, they kill Steven?
Metaphorically, spoilers for Steven Universe. He is metaphorically killed in the show. Not really. You don't see like a knife go through him, but his mother, who is also God, who's like this space rock, this giant space rock, who like projects a gigantic holographic image of this sort of terrifying queen-like matriarch, purges the humanity from him. Because Steven he's half human, half gem, you see. And his dad is Tom Sharpling from The Best Show, which is also how you know that, okay, Rebecca Sugar, she's a real head. She knows, she gets it. She's real. But yeah, so the show, as many media properties do, uses fascist imagery, because the thrust of the show, there's Steven, he protects the Earth against the evil gems. They're for gems from outer space who want to subjugate the entire galaxy, but he is one of them. He's half gem himself. He was made in the gem's own image. Yes, he was made exactly. Son. Yeah.
I see.
It is Jesus. It is absolutely Jesus over and over again. But that's every story. That's every story from the West. So they use fascist, sort of pseudo-fascist, bureaucratic imagery for the gem world, but it's sort of like, in my view, it's unfair to call them fascists, because they're not fascists, they're gods, they're Galactus. The show is how do you reason with God, a God who would feel justified in, reshaping universes to fit their own image, because they are this just untapped, unchecked source of power that can't really be reined in by our human conceptions of morality. So I always thought that it was like, go off on Steven Universe a little bit, just to go on one of my patented Steven Universe rants, right?
I could reason with God. I could talk her down.
But it is, I just, find it funny about this little bright-eyed child confronting Hitler is like, what if you could reason with Hitler, maybe? I think that's funny. Gonna reason with Hitler. I don't know about that. I don't know if you could reason with Hitler.
The crossover everyone's been waiting for.
Steven I think, we need more Hitlers in media. It was good when Captain America did it. Captain America punched Hitler.
Ooh, did you ever see Danger 5?
Danger 5?
Show?
No. Did they fight a Hitler in it?
Every episode. It's an Australian comedy show. I want to say like late 2000s, maybe early 2010s. Mm-hmm. That's like a spoof on old like 60s British spy movies.
Yeah.
And in each one, they're trying to kill Hitler. If you've ever seen, there's like a GIF that was famous of Hitler running from all these people shooting him, and he dives through a window and escapes. All the episodes end like that. You would appreciate this. I have no sense of like if it's a big thing or not, but there's two.
Yeah, I know it was on Netflix. I know the show. It's I never watched it myself, but you like that sort of revised 70s-esque. You were mentioning Look Around You.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, there is a common thread there. I guess I do like that old like aesthetic.
Yeah.
The kind of, I don't know, washed out kind of colors a little bit. Old educational film type
stuff that was shot on film as well, because Danger 5 looks like it was shot on film, right?
Oh, I'm ignorant about film stuff completely, so I'm just like, I think that looks cool, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
Yeah,
that probably is what it is.
But it has, there's softer edges, to the look. The colors are brighter. The colors are more saturated,
and I think like that a lot.
Also, is there like early synth music in it? Because there's like early synth music in the Look Around You.
Oh yeah, I can't remember on this one. It's been some years since I've seen it, and I hope it's not like horrifically problematic.
It's fine,
It was very. I watched that whole series a couple times. Then they do a second season where it's in the 80s,
Yeah.
80s like action cyberpunk movies, and of course Hitler is back, and
Hitler's back,
they have to kill him again. He blends into he blends into a high school and pretends to be like a high school student, like Johnny Hitler.
Stupid. It's very easy to go to Hitler as like a punchline because it's
Sure.
Since the producers, there's been actually, since World War II began, it's always you got to mock Hitler, you got to
Goofy dude,
display him as a fool, and that, in Mel Brooks's view, that sort of humor was a positive, a political act because it removes their power as being any sort of threat, or as being not
Sure.
that it's not that they're not a threat, it's that they shouldn't be taken seriously.
right?
It's that they shouldn't have any sort of ego or like cults associated with them because they are foolish and should not be offered any sort of cognizance.
Right. But now you're like, are some of these fucking stupid fash kids who like jump on that bandwagon, did that make them think like, oh, actually that wasn't a big deal? Actually, this dude's just kind of a character, and so you don't grasp the weight of a dude who genocided a whole fucking race. That shit sucks.
Are they Jojo rabbiting? Are they turning Hitler into a knife? That's a movie. I could do. I think we talked about it in our episode with Esther. Jojo Rabbit is.
I think I remember this.
It's a strange movie. I should watch it again. Maybe my opinion of it will improve the second time. But let's not get into it. There's some discourse. It's not really discourse. But earlier this week on Twitter, people started collectively remembering, hey, remember Rupi Kaur?
Rupi Kaur's in the news.
Rupi Kaur's in the news, in the Twitter. I think Kayvon, still oppressed, did his thing. He was the one that started off the Rupi Kaur because he posted the video of the honey. The honey dipping fingers.
Yes, honey dipping fingers.
Yeah, the honey dipping
exactly.
fingers. Where she talks about pussy honey. And we have this, and it's comedy gold for a lot of reasons. But the fact that she's very serious about it, when you take something very serious, when you're talking about pussy honey very seriously, it's just,
it's goofy.
Yeah, it is goofy. But I don't know why, but I have this sort of contrarian instinct to defend her in some way.
Sure.
As do you. You were mentioning your contrarian instinct to defend Rupi.
We were talking before. It's just such an easy target. I didn't know a whole lot about her other than like those poems are all over fucking Instagram when I was in college or whatever. Yeah. And I thought she was like 40 something, because I don't know fucking anything. I assumed she was like this long established poet, but she like got big on Instagram, blew up. I feel like she was like 18 or something when all this was happening, maybe younger. Stuff all over the place. And like we were talking before the show too, poetry is not like a big thing. We were struggling to name another poet who's still alive.
Yeah. So it's weird that I can name one. Yeah.
But so she gets thrust into the spotlight as like a young person trying to sincerely express herself in an artistic medium. That's a really vulnerable and difficult thing to do. And because it becomes like such an Instagram meme thing and it's everywhere, and like, yeah, the reading on that video is goofy as fuck. Like, oh my God. Of course people are going to dogpile onto her because like, yeah, it is fucking goofy shit, but it doesn't make her a bad person, and it doesn't make it all like bad, Maybe she's, a little hack in some ways is something I've heard people reference to her, but like, again, she didn't fucking ask to be a famous poet. She was just trying to fucking, figure stuff out as a late teenager. I don't know. I can't like, I can laugh at somebody like that a little bit, but I can't like hate on somebody.
No,
like
I'm just as cringe as this. I can't. This is, I'm equally, Have I ever been as openly vulnerable in sort of a silly or maybe somewhat trite way? For sure. That's like, if you produce any art at all, you're going to do that eventually. If you like put yourself out there at all, if you try and evoke some sort of vulnerability, you're going to do it in maybe a cliched or sort of what some would view as a simplistic way. But right. I think that's part of what people hate about it, is there is like a simplicity to it. The thing that I think makes it resonate with so much people is that it's not like soul rending shit. You're not reading it and the harrowing of my insides. But I think and we could talk about the sort of like mental health affirmation culture around it too, because like what a lot of the poems resemble to are sort of mental health affirmations, like don't worry. Like I'm reading one now, and it comes with the illustrations, and the illustration is a female-like figure with sort of naughty natural hair with like leaves and birds in it and shit, who's hugging herself. Okay. And the poem reads, "And here you are living despite it all, Rupi Kaur."
And that's the poem for Rupi Kaur.
Yeah.
And again, like, is that the most groundbreaking thing of all time? No, but like, that's a thing that people feel. Life is difficult, and like, I don't know, you should give yourself credit for keeping on. It lands in like that the difference between sincerity and reaching like saccharine can be very difficult to thread. But again, I think it's better to try than not to try. We were talking about this before, and I don't know, we can get into this topic like after too, the other thing we're going to talk about, but something I've been working on recently is like allowing myself to write and make music and perform. Because I did stand-up years ago, and I quit when we started the show because the vulnerability of being on stage scared the shit out of me. I'd get so anxious about it. And I quit music for a similar reason of I don't want to look stupid. I struggled to show stuff I made to anybody because it's scary being vulnerable and putting yourself out there for like this kind of reason, because it's easy to come across as, trite or whatever when you're starting out. Right. And the same thing with writing. Like I've thought I hated writing for years because I would hyper fixate trying to write something and be like, this sounds like shit, and get frustrated and quit. And I've been finding a lot of like healing for my own fucking mental health and trauma stuff recently for like letting myself do that finally. And so I think it's infinite. I think the whole kind of culture of shitting on people for being a little corny sucks. I think that like stops a lot of people from expressing themselves, and that's really rough.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I feel like because I've been shat on for being corny, I get to do it to other people. No, you all experience this. You're all in the pit. You're all savages. But here's one that I don't know. This is this one is very funny. If we're talking about cornies, and it's one that people often post in relation to a Rupi Kaur is not so good. It's a drawing of a pair of AirPods, and the poem reads, "Do AirPods not have wires because we are scared of connection?"
Is this a real one?
I don't know. It seems like it could be fake because it's very silly. Oh my
God.
It's very silly.
I'm seeing this too. Good Lord.
That's very funny. But I think it should I don't think this is necessarily terrible. I think there's a lot of people that respond to this. It's not really for me. I think there's a lot of people that, okay, let's analyze what is in this poem. She refers to a piece of technology, and she's referring how the advancement of technology distances us from one another. And that's true. It's like, this is stuff that you could say in a much more serious tone of voice. You could say it in like, like the telescoping nature of our technological progress has, atomized us into pods of people that are only concerned with our self-interest. But this thing that you can use a lot of Marxist language to sort of justify. She's expressing it as well here, just in a way that you think is, not as pithy, not as deep. But it certainly communicates to a lot of people. I'm sure there's a lot of people that share this on Facebook, broadly agree with it. Is that bad? Are they so bad? Why do we hate people for liking supposedly bad art? I think that's the other thing that I really had to reevaluate, like, because in my 20s, I would like fucking hate people for having bad taste,
Oh, it's big same.
Yeah, like in a way that's completely irrational. That's like, no, why do you hate people for their musical taste? It doesn't has no bearing on their character.
Why are you putting your energy and thought into this thing that brings you nothing except for a vague feeling of superiority?
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through these and like, okay, yeah, there's
most of them aren't as bad as the AirPods one either, you know. That one is not so good.
If you are not enough, okay, this is like a yin yang kind of two women's faces, and the hair is like circling them into the shape. If you are not enough for yourself, you will never be enough for someone else. Rupi Kaur.
Sure.
I think it's because it becomes popular because, like, well, yes, and that's something that like everybody kind of
it's relatable. It's goddamn relatable. Yeah, it's meant for a universal audience. Yeah,
that you can. It's gonna like everybody's got some connection to this stuff with how kind of simplistic and vague it is. Am I saying that word right? Do I say vague weird?
No, vague is
Okay.
vague. Speaking about vague, the thing that I love most about Rupi Kaur is that she gets a little sexy sometimes.
Oh, yes, she does.
This one fucking rules. This is like something that I would write. This is like the drawer. I don't know if it's like, this doesn't seem like it's fake. This seems real. The drawing is a pair of ice cubes melting. This is a rare Rupi Kaur because it has a title. And the title is situated at the bottom. So it reads, "It was as though someone had slid ice cubes down the back of my shirt. The orgasm, Rupi Kaur." What? That's written like a joke, though. That's like it's written like that has the format of a joke, which is
ice cubes down the back of my shirt. The aristocrats.
Yeah.
Then the mom was sliding ice cubes down the back of the shirt of the son.
She was putting her pussy in the honey. She was taking her honey from the.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fuck. I love the when she gets sexual and she uses like gross sexual imagery. That shit is like, I mean, that's my bread and butter, you know. That's what I made my Twitter presence off of, was just being sort of gross and base and sex jokes. And I love that shit, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's me and Audrey's show to an extent, talking about sex stuff, with the questions we get and kink stuff. Of course, there's all kind of goofy shit to make jokes of. It's a fertile ground for goofy ass riffs when you're talking about these things. There's so many fucking of these poems, man. I'm looking through this too, and like one I popped up was like, oh, it's a parody version, and so now I feel like I'm playing real or fake with these poems.
Yeah. I can't. Which are the real Rupi Kaurs?
And which one is merely an imposter?
Yeah. Here's one where a hand is dipping into a jar, but it's not the pussy.
It's not the pussy.
You treat them as if they have a heart like yours, but not everyone can be as soft and as tender as you. You don't see the person they see. You see the person they have the potential to be. You give and give till they have taken everything out of you and leave you empty. That's a sure. That's not so bad.
Yeah,
it's just easy because she's not using words like pusillanimous. I don't know if that makes good poetry or what. That's not even a particularly poetic word.
I don't know what that one is. I'm gonna be honest.
I think it's designed to be easy to understand. There's one which is this one's attributed to her. Which is very funny coming from her because she is very popular. So this poem goes, "Your art is not about how many people like your work. Your art is about if your heart likes your work, if your soul likes your work. It's about how honest you are with yourself, and you must never trade honesty for relatability." Oh, that's great. That's great, Rupi Kaur. Your honesty is beloved by millions. Sometimes it all works out for you then.
Hey, get a load of this one. So there's a picture of maybe like a brontosaurus, like some kind of long-necked Old critter.
Okay.
Open the door. Get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Rupi Kaur.
I don't think that's her. I think that might be one of those knockoff.
I'm just referencing like a 20-year-old meme there. Let's fucking go.
I love 20-year-old memes. See, that's how dumb my sense of humor is, which is why I cannot fault Rupi Kaur for anything, you know?
Yeah. The universe took its time on you, crafted you precisely, so you can offer the world something distinct from everyone else. So when you doubt how you were created, you doubt an energy greater than us both. Rupi Kaur. And there's a little plant growing.
Sure. It's about you. A pattern that I notice with this stuff and with sort of mental health affirmations culture in general, and something that, I've been guilty of doing in the past, is sort of situating your mental health only in relation to your own identity, sure. Only in relation to your sense of self, and I think, that's sort of where your mental health journey begins, especially if you're like suicidal, if you think you're a piece of shit, if you think you're ugly or like unspecial or something like that. The first step of like trying to feel better about yourself is always, oh, I'm not so bad. That's half the reason I have why therapy, I think, for all the debate around it, I think has been useful for me in just having like a third person voice who's like, you're not so bad. Right.
Sure.
I think that's useful.
You got to have that starting place to take care of yourself, to have the energy and motivation to take care of yourself. But yeah, there can be just that. It's another one of those, like, what's the distinction, like the gray area between sincerity and stuff being kind of saccharine and trite with a lot of this kind of stuff is like, I don't know. I guess that's when that's a thing that's used to just kind of explain everything away and not investigate further, and just like, oh, I just needed to love myself. Like, actually, all the things I am doing are good.
Yeah.
I just have been being mean to myself or whatever. And there's like situations where maybe that's true, but there's plenty of situations where like part of the reason our mental health's bad or whatever is because we're doing stupid shit. We're not doing things well, or we're treating people badly or whatever. And how do you thread that needle of self-awareness, but also having compassion for yourself? Self-compassion versus like self-criticality. There's like another like balance that you got to find there.
Yeah. Because haters gonna hate. Yeah. Up to a point, sometimes the haters are correct.
Right.
Yeah. And just imagine Hitler, going through Paris saying, hate is going to hate. Hate is going to, maybe sometimes you should listen to criticism. Maybe Hitler should listen to reason. So
maybe Hitler should listen to
Maybe Hitler should have listened to goddamn reason. But yeah, I think part of maybe the criticism of Rupi Kaur is it does have this very modern version of sort of this self-absorbed mental health affirmation stuff.
Yes.
Which I think is, but you need that up to a point, like you said. There's like once you get to the point where you're like, I don't want to kill myself for being such a piece of shit anymore, then there needs to be something after, that's where community comes in. That's where like being parts of groups of other people and helping each other, exchanging information, finding yourself situated within a working network of people that care about each other. That's the step after, and which is hard to do because that involves a lot of giving up on your own ego, becoming egoless, where it was about, building up your ego before. Now it's about taking some of it away, which I think, and that's why it's hard for us to get over that step. It's like the AirPods. It's like the goddamn AirPods. I think technology also encourages us to sort of be happy with just self-adulation as our way of getting our social necessity, our social mental health necessities in, which is definitely not the way that you should be doing.
For sure. I mean, I think there's another layer here too, which is like, the very trite, like corporate co-opting of a lot of this stuff, like wellness initiatives and businesses that are like, ultimately you're just trying to do anything to make people feel better and be a better worker without giving them more money, and so it's always going to be wrapped in a lot of this trite shit, because even if there's truth to it, it's not addressing like the actual materialist problem like behind this entire situation. And I think that's like a lot of elements of culture, where when stuff when things become co-opted like that, and then they're everywhere all of the time, and everybody's like, this is a bunch of fucking bullshit, it starts grating on you. Then we look back on something like that, her poems, and it's like, this reads like something that would be up, printed out on the fucking bulletin board in like a shitty cubicle office. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, there is I think sort of the generic quality which makes them so popular also means that it can be used against its own meaning.
Right.
Because it is so vague, vague. Because it is vague. It can be used to just like say anything, really. You can use it to mean anything. You can use it for any situation.
Pussies are like honey.
Yeah. Well, that one has way more specificity, which I like that one. I think it's a much more successful poem, because you couldn't use that. You couldn't use the pussy honey poem in like an office situation.
That's
you
true. The office coffee pot. You reached your hand into. You're drinking too much coffee. You're putting your hands in the pot. I can't think of a good crossover there. Listener, complete the joke for yourself.
When you're kneeling down to suck the water cooler, like so many pillars of water. I don't know. She never had a cock sucking poem in there. I've never heard her describe a cock in one of her poems. I don't think she's really about describing cocks.
I don't think so either. I'm certainly not seeing anything as I scroll through these. I should have set up a real or fake game to hit you with, because there are some fun parodies in here. I tell you what.
Something I notice about the Rupi Kaur format is it's very reminiscent of Shel Silverstein.
Yeah, actually, even the illustration style, like I think it's all one line for these drawings.
Yeah. I think there's something to that, in that people talk about the arrested development of our generation. We're all children well into our goddamn 30s, right?
Oh, a bunch of Jobs out here.
Yeah.
Well, a bunch of damn Buster Bluths out here. Okay.
Yeah, we're all fail children. A whole generation of fail children. So now we're reading poems. We're reading like little poems that are essentially meant for children, or formatted and worded like they are for children, that need to regress. Did you know after 9/11, Food Network got really popular?
No.
Yeah, Food Network Food Network saw marked increased ratings after 9/11 because it was apolitical and comforting.
I feel this. It's hard to think about 2,000 people dying on that dark day for America when you're watching what's her face buttering up some delicious chicken thighs and putting some seasoning on, and we're taking it. We've already got one in the oven. It's ready to go. Things are actually very good.
I know. Yeah, I can't possibly think about those planes hitting those towers when I hear Alton Brown's voice, and I hear him explain how to do sous vide and the history of sous vide, and it's just so boring. It's just terrible.
He's like a big libertarian piece of shit.
He's a weird Republican. It's funny that he's a Republican.
Very strange.
He voted Hillary, though. It's just funny.
Well, in that case,
he made a big show of it.
He's a revolutionary.
He was with her. But yeah, I think, for all the shit we're talking about, these Rupi Kaur poems, I don't think there's anything there's nothing which brings out the real bile in me. Like, I don't have a strong reaction of hatred to them. It's like, I was like, I see who this is for. It's not for me, but I think, some people probably get a lot out of this. I think, and the fact that some people get a lot out of it doesn't necessarily mean it's terrible. People will use something's popularity as an example of its terribleness as well.
Right.
But, maybe there is something about it that has value, and that's the reason why it is speaking to people. Still criticize, no one should be free from merciless criticism and humor, but, it's not so bad. It's not the worst thing on earth. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. What is the worst poetry you've ever? Because I used to go to poetry open mics, and sometimes people would go with like really sexually aggressive poetry, but like dude bro poetry where it's like I am Hemingway. When I put your heels behind your head, I fought you. It's like reading it in a very intense way.
Your
it's like,
pussy is like a jar of honey, and I put my penis in it.
Yeah, very sexually aggressive.
Good
mask Rupi Kaur.
I've never been to one of them open mics. I've only been to like comedy ones. I didn't consider that there's like, I could definitely see some fucking horny dudes. That's just like a light to moths for them. Yeah. I can go in here and read my weird, poorly thought out erotica. Hell yeah. I've been writing a little bit of poetry recently because I'm going through a whole lot of bad shit. And as part of this exercise of just trying to let myself get stuff onto a page. And I will say, like, a particularly harrowing thing to show to anybody, because you're like, oh no, I'm writing poetry. I'm that guy. Yeah. This can't, like, I don't know. It makes me like, I'm trying to work through this again and just be like, this is an avenue to get things down. And it seems to be good for me. I'm doing this when I'm in a bad place instead of chain smoking a pack of cigarettes and like the bad shit that I used to do. But there's definitely a part where it's like, there's a little bit of that self-crit of that, like, don't be a fucking corny motherfucker instinct that is good. But how do you thread that needle? Because I don't know. It's helping me work through some stuff.
You have to not, it's the same thing with dating. Don't be afraid of failure. If you're afraid of failure, you're already starting from a losing position. Because it's like, you're going to think, I'm a piece of shit. I'm not worthy of anyone's love. It's like, who wants to date that person? No, you have to first be, okay, I'm probably worthy of love. And, and it's the same thing with your art. You have to get over that initial, this sucks, I suck. And just think about you, have that image in your head of like, I suck. Do you really want to be that guy?
Definitely not. And I'm not like that. I have like at least showed this to a few people, and I've gotten some like positive feedback on some of the stuff I've written. But in the back of my mind, I'm always like, there's a little bit of that. I'm fighting that off a little bit. Yeah. I'm trying to be better about being, because we're vulnerable as fuck on the show. I don't know. I talk extremely candidly about kink and sexual experiences and like my gender identity and shit. Yeah. And that, I don't know. I've always had no trouble with that. But something about the idea of like, I'm making something more abstract from these intense feelings. Yeah. That's what I'm fine talking about my feelings very candidly, but something about I've made this thing from these intense feelings is like, I don't know, these feelings are heavy and difficult. What if the thing I make to express them sucks and then I feel on top of them sucking? Horrifying thing to think about, but I'm trying to push through it.
Sometimes when you make a thing that sucks too, it really turns out to be great. Like the example is the Shags' philosophy of the world, where, they were you ever hear of the Shags? You know about the Shags? They're great, the Shags. They were...
the Shags!
The Shags. They had an insane, basically abusive father who had like this vision, and he all of his daughters, none of which could play music, he set them up in a rock band.
Wait, I think I do know.
And they composed like what a lot of people term outsider music, but which is a little condescending to them. But because they were off rhythm.
I do know this. I do know this.
The Shags are great. I love the Shags. Their music is totally idiosyncratic. It was dubbed as being bad, but like there's really no other person who could make that type of music. You know, and even like. you listen to it years later, the lyrics are cool. They were just these teenagers just writing anything because their dad was forcing them to, and they ended up coming up with some really cool shit, which is sort of a very interesting thing to have happened. Obviously the story with the dad is complex. It's like, it's not a fully happy story, and you can't contextualize it as such, but it ended up producing something that, I've seen people try and score it. People who are like composers because there are complex polyrhythms in it. They accidentally happen upon complex polyrhythms because their practiced amateurishness ended up being just as compelling as someone who was a professional. At least, reevaluated through such lens. So, that could also end up happening is you create, I guess, the most terrifying thing is that you create something and then just nobody pays attention to it because it's not worthy of attention. That's sort
true.
of,
I appreciate that. I guess, and I guess that's another thing that I've been thinking about is like, not only myself, but how many other people out there could not only like benefit from getting stuff out, but maybe have something particularly unique to say that are, stopped from doing that and feel self-conscious or whatever, because it's different than whatever like the mainstream kind of successful thing is, the thing that good is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's I guess that's kind of like the, a similar thought to the like, the next Einstein could be dead as a child from malnutrition or whatever, somebody in, some life path that's just been fucked over by their circumstances. And I don't know, we're a very sincere show, Radio Free Tote. I'm a very sincere person. I guess just like, that's the kind of thing that really gets to me. I really hate to see people who are vulnerable then be fucked over and not be able to like reach fulfillment or whatever. I think that's one of like the biggest tragedies there is. And stuff just makes me deeply, deeply sad. And so I don't know, fucking Rupi Kaur and like all of this stuff. I think it's just better to err on the side of risking being corny than it is to fucking never do anything, because we'd have nothing but fucking, I don't know, Elvis music all of the time.
Oh, well, that doesn't sound so bad. I could live with it.
Like there's here's the rock song structure, and we're not deviating from this at all.
Yeah.
Anything other than this is bad, and you should feel goofy for trying to go beyond it or whatever.
You describing Elvis World sounds great to me. Honestly, I think think of how much better every One Direction song would have been.
They were all Elvis. It was five Elvises. Five
Elvises. Think of how much better Harry Styles' music would be if it was. Can you imagine? Elvis.
I think Hillary could have won the election if she was Elvis.
Yeah, I mean, Cher understood the power of being Elvis. I'm 100% serious. Cher is a documented Elvis fan. Huge Elvis fan, Cher is. And I think her vocal style is cribbed from Elvis.
It's Elvis-y for sure.
Yeah. Eddie Vedder, he just was grunge Elvis, and he did it. Now everyone loves. Nobody has a bad thing to say about Eddie Vedder.
Wait, does that mean then that, like, I don't know, Nickelback and Creed and stuff?
Elvis.
Take me high.
It's all from Elvis.
Derivative. Holy shit.
It's been Elvis this whole time. Elvis. We're already living in Elvis world. It's already Elvis world.
Oh, no.
That's what Baz Luhrmann understood, which is why that movie is excellent. Baz Luhrmann understands that we are permanently locked in the world of Elvis.
Oh, fuck. What if Alex was Elvis this whole time?
Yeah, Elvis. My mama been making fun of me on the internet.
Patreon.com/House of Decline. I'm just doing Eddie Vedder.
That's Eddie Vedder. That's that.
Can only do the derivative.
The derivative of
Cher.
Except Cher doesn't really talk like that.
I'm Cher, bitch. How to Cher talk? They try and cover up the Armenian genocide. Hank Uyghur, why are you called the Young Turks, bitch? Highly critical of yourself, calling yourselves the Young Turks. You know what happened in Armenia, bitch?
But actually, that's a whole thing I was reading about recently. I don't know if I can do a seamless
Armenian
transition.
genocide?
Genocide from
A
Elvis
little
world.
casual reading on the Armenian genocide recently.
The whole Young Turks thing. Okay. Yeah.
The Young Turks controversy is very interesting. We could also cover that because that shit is weird and funny.
And you know what? The name wouldn't be there if Sank was Elvis.
Yeah.
It would have been a different name.
He wouldn't be under so much heat right now about protesting against the wokies, if he had said all of it like Elvis. If he had had some
wiggling his hips a little bit.
Wiggling his hips.
I mean, that's what Hassan does. Hassan Elvises it up, and look, he never gets in trouble at all.
It's all coming together.
Yeah.
This is the new thing to like stop yourself from cancel culture getting you. You just gotta grease up your hair. Shake your hips around a little bit. I only know like 2 Elvis songs. I don't actually know much about it. You like
Minds.
Peanut Butter or something?
Yeah, you like peanut butter and banana and bacon sandwiches.
And he died on the toilet.
Yeah, I don't know if that is true, actually. I think that's apocryphal. I think that maybe.
All right, welcome to
just
Mythbusters.
Trying to. Did
classic,
Elvis die on the toilet? Get the Snopes.com article.
This is the classic House of Decline segment, Mythbusters, Elvis Mythbusters.
We're the first to invent it. No one has ever thought of this premise before.
PBS says that he was sitting on the toilet. Oh my God. Okay, this is the first result when I Googled it from PBS.org.
PBS.org.
Yeah. Elvis was sitting on the toilet, straining very hard to have a bowel movement, a maneuver that put a great amount of pressure on his heart and aorta. Thus, he likely died of a massive heart attack and keeled over onto the floor. But Elvis was not suffering from garden variety constipation at the time of his death. Indeed, his medicine chest was filled with amber-colored, white-topped vials of medications in doses no responsible doctor would have prescribed, opiates and stuff. He was constipated because he was doped up, and you can't shit when you're on like a bunch of Vicodin or whatever.
Oh man, that's a whole circuitous route. It's just like a House would have figured out Elvis's problem. He would have been in there, you know. Michael Jackson wouldn't have died if House had been on. House
was the doctor.
Yeah.
Apparently it's real though. Apparently he did die. He was found face down on the floor of his bathroom. Myth confirmed, Alex.
Oh my God.
Myth confirmed.
Wait, he didn't die on the toilet. He died on the floor of the bathroom.
I think he died on the toilet and then he fell. Well, I guess he probably was still alive when he hit the ground. But
well, that's
for all intents and purposes, the man was on the toilet when it happened.
Okay.
Myth confirmed.
That's how I would like to go. That's sort of the safest. I love being on the toilet. It's like I feel so secure.
It's a nice place. Yeah. I get made fun of by friends a lot, especially in college because I take these big long shits and you like turn the shower on so the room gets steamed up in the morning. You do like a little steam shit. Still do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
Do a steam shit.
Do a steam shit. It's a luxurious experience.
That's what. Mark Twain on steam shits his entire life. You know.
Oh yeah.
Going up and down riverboats on steam shit. A great steam shit pun for you. That's a type of material that you only get here. That's
good stuff. We got jokes like that, and we got the classic Mythbusters segment. I got a mustache like the walrus-looking dude from Mythbusters.
Jamie.
I'm Jamie. Yeah.
Apparently, Adam and Jamie don't like each other in real life.
I heard that too.
Learning that was such a blow.
It really is.
At least on Radio Free Tote Bag, you and Audrey are friends. Your friendship is genuine.
No, behind the scenes, we like mail each other death threats and stuff.
Yeah, you're like Joey and Johnny Ramone.
No, she's one of my best friends. It's a good situation. Thank God. Can you imagine doing a show like that frequently and like it's you and a co-host, that kind of relationship, and you hate the motherfucker?
I think that it's such a compelling story when you're just trapped with someone.
Yeah.
You can't get out of it.
And you're beloved as a duo. Like people don't want you to hate each other. You can't like be doing a live show and be sniping at each other or whatever. You're going to upset the fans who are like a bunch of kids too with it being like that particular show.
Yeah.
Damn. That is compelling.
Yeah, I wonder if there are any podcasts out now where the chemistry has gone south and they're all starting to get on each other's nerves and like you can hear it come out. I think it'd be funny if like the Pod Damn America people were all All sniping.
No, I
liberal.
love all of them. No, Anders turns out to be he's just an evil dude. Have you seen the image that goes or the Twitter circles meme? I just commented on this the other day. That gets tweeted out where it's Jeffrey Epstein and like all of the related people in the circle, and there's Trump and the Clintons. And for some reason, Anders Lee from Pod Damn America, they forgot to like edit that picture and it's him down in the corner.
Well, you never know. New York. He was living in New York. I'm sure we're all 6 degrees of separation away from Epstein. I wonder, I wonder what my Epstein number is. I wonder how many degrees of separation I am from
I do know. I went to Ohio State, and Les Wexner, Victoria's Secret motherfucker, who bankrolled him, his name is all over the campus.
Okay. And, but have you met Les Wexner?
No.
Okay.
I do have a friend whose dad worked at Victoria's Secret corporate who knew the dude.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I'm like, what is that? Three ticks off of Epstein? A little peek behind the curtain. I've got a cousin who's in fucking Congress. Through her, I'm probably closer because like there's tons of politicians who were fucking friended up with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably at 3.
Your Epstein number is 3. I'm trying to.
So.
Yeah, so I was a child actor, so I think I can get there through actors. Yeah,
I didn't know this.
Have I never told you this before? I suppose I reveal it every so often. Nobody has made a big deal about it or something. But
you played young Elvis.
I played young Elvis. I did play. No, I never played young Elvis. I never played young anyone. The role that is weirdest though was I was on the show Arthur.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I was on the show
Crowder.
Yeah, no, I replaced him as the voice of the brain. I was the guy that was the voice of that character directly after Steven Crowder.
Are you fucking with me?
I'm not fucking with you. This is 100% true.
What the fuck? How did I not know that? That's insane.
It's something it's like a weird fact, but I don't want to like talk about my child acting that often because it would be weird to lean on it as some sort of interesting fact.
That's true. Why did they replace fucking, I don't know, creepy ass, like adult Steven? They're like, let's go for a kid instead. Was it because he's a fucking weird ass? And they were like, we got to pick a kid who doesn't have bizarre baggage the way that he does.
I'm sure Steven I'm sure Steven Crowder.
If Hitler had just talked to Steven Crowder.
Goddamn Crowder, yeah, they would have shared a cigar and had gay sex and mended their ways. Oh my god. Fucking it's weird because that's how I sort of got into just leftism in general, because I felt like I was bound by fate with Steven Crowder to be the opposite. Okay, so he's very closeted and I am an out gay person. Okay, so he's very conservative, so it seems like my life is going in the direction where I'm very, very liberal or left wing or whatever.
You're fucking you're quantum entangled with Steven Crowder.
Yeah,
the light version.
He is monetarily very successful, and I am not.
Damn, he's got a cool mug. You're fucking mugless over there.
I'm mugless. I'm Jew. I'm a short little Jew. I'm a weaselly little Jewish guy, and he's some sort of Gentile.
Fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Contemptible face. You don't have. You have a friendly face. He has a contemptible face.
Yeah, he's got one of those punchable mugs.
Yeah.
But that's one mug that I'd like to own.
Hey.
Hey.
That's a mug I'd like to hold up in a meme format. His disembodied face.
Yeah. Hollow out his skull and pour hot liquid.
I'm drinking coffee out of Steven Crowder's skull. Change his mind. Wait, there's a mind thing because the skull's empty.
Yeah.
I changed his mind. I switched it with coffee.
It's funny because that is the big Steven Universe song, is if you could change your mind, if you could change. Steven Crowder is the Steven Universe meme. Hence I am Steven Universe. No. It's all coming together. All of my schizophrenic associations are coming together. Every image that has cropped up in my life, he keeps coming up, the Steven Crowder fella.
Yeah, man. Every time I come on the show, I love your decor in the background. All of those pictures with strings pinned in between them. Really got a good thing going with your room.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot of red yarn. I'm keeping the red yarn industry afloat over here.
Yarn forward decor, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Whatever happened to yarn, man? Whatever happened to, we used to make things out of yarn, okay?
Used to make things in this country.
Now it's all chrome.
What do cats have to fuck around with these days?
Yeah, cats are just on their iPads now. They don't even play with yarn anymore. They're playing with virtual yarn on their iPads. Technology, maybe cats have AirPods because they're afraid to connect.
Yes. There's a twinge of me right now that is unironically like, damn, I wish I had some yarn around. There is something nice about a basket full of a bunch of different colored yarns. Like my mom, I don't know, crocheted, and so that is always kind of around. And then I'm like, I should get some. I'm 31. I should get some yarn.
Get some yarn. Have some yarn lying about the house. What I would like is it's very good tactilely. It has a very good tactile sensation. You just want to put your hands into like a big ball of yarn. Have you ever wanted a tactile room where you have like a bunch of different things which have different touches associated? Like you have the sandpaper wall, but you also have like the cube wall, like the greebling wall.
Oh,
you also have but you have the rubber wall. Various. If I were a rich person, I would have a tactile room, a room with many different tactile surfaces.
I feel this for sure, and I think that probably means we're both on the spectrum somewhere.
Sure. Yeah, that's exactly.
But I'm loving the concept here.
Yeah.
It's not the same
wall.
I had a whole thing with as a kid, like touching a chalkboard would wig me the fuck out, just like the texture of it.
Yeah, it's no good. Silk. I cannot stand the feeling of silk. It is terrible to me. It feels
too
like
smooth
acid. Yeah, it's too smooth. And if you run your fingernails on it, oh Jesus.
Does it catch a little bit? Or
it makes like a zip sound, and there's an unpleasant V in it. It's no good.
I hate that a lot.
We're back to House of Decline, talking about our favorite tactile sensation. Back to tactile sensation.
We're asking a question we ask every week. What you been touching lately?
We criticize Rupi Kaur for being childlike, but what are we into right now? Tactile sensations and dinos. Okay.
And Steven
Universe. We're children. We're goddamn children. We're goddamn fucking children. That shit is. Do you ever feel infantilized? You ever feel like you should be more of an adult by now?
I guess. I don't know. For me, it's like, and then I remember I've had horrible traumatic experiences throughout my life, and it's kind of like the fact that I'm this functional at all is kind of a miracle. So I kind of. I think I'm doing okay.
I think, that's one of the good men. This would be like a Rupi Kaur thing. Think about the time you survived.
Right.
That's my Rupi Kaur poem. Isn't it good? It has like a little person looking determined or something like that, or like a blade of grass growing out of concrete or something like that.
One of your teachers was the most prolific pedophile in known history, and
what?
You keep your apartment clean, Rupi Kaur.
What?
That is a fun fact. I don't know if we want to get into this.
Teachers of my you're gonna reveal that information. I also had a pedophile teacher at my school. Nothing happened to me though. Yeah, high five.
Top. Unclear on me, and that's all I will say, because I think if I named this person, people could figure out where one of the high schools I went to by that information through the rate deduction, but I don't know, man. Nobody's fucking going after me. But yeah, shit like that. And yet I have a reasonably successful podcast, hold down a job, and keep my apartment clean. I think that says a lot.
There you go. Where's your Rupi Kaur poem? Where is my high school teacher was the most prolific pedophile, but it has line breaks.
And yet, I remembered to do my taxes. Don Rupi Kaur.
The drawing would not be good for that one. I don't know what the drawing would be for that one. It would be a blade of grass growing out of a pedophile.
I mean, he
don't
killed
know.
himself. That could be. He can grow.
That's a
blade of
good
grass
story.
off
Yeah,
of
a happy
person.
ending. Yeah. Every time a pedophile kills himself, an angel gets his wings.
So true. Sometimes I'll like bring that up and I'm like, wait a second, that's like a really heavy topic. I kind of forget that it's an extremely heavy thing.
Well, yeah, but you should do that. Have you ever done that at like parties that you're not enjoying? I don't know, because you seem much more sociable than I am. But sometimes I will just say a really rhythm breaking thing.
Just drop something to see what happens.
Yeah, see what goes on. See if
I guess sometimes. I mean, I get even fucking talking about that, and I've like lightly touched on that on the show. Part of me wants to talk about it more extensively on our show because I think it's important for people not to cover this shit up. And it's like, it's a wild fucking story.
Yeah.
And there was some reporting on it when this all came out, but it's never really been out there. And like, there's still some people out there who possibly enabled that shit that I don't think have had any kind of justice coming. There's a part of me that has wanted to like, I have bopped around like, what if I did a show exploring that stuff? But then I'm like, I don't know if I want the mental weight of working on that because it is a really fucking heavy thing. But it's important to talk about that kind of stuff because the silence around that sort of thing is what enables it.
Yeah.
But so I've kind of touched on it on the show, and we've had people write in with traumatic experiences like that. I guess what I was getting at is, generally speaking, like I just talk kind of openly about bad shit that's happened in my life because I want other people to feel able to be vulnerable about that stuff. I guess that's kind of the conceit of our show and why people will write in pretty vulnerable things. Because I had to sit with a lot of really bad shit for a while and felt like I couldn't talk about it with people.
Yeah.
Come back to, again, that sincerity is a good ass thing, even if it's corny sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think, not being afraid to be vulnerable, especially when it comes to that heavy topic, that's the step, especially because there's a lot of stuff militating. There's like monetary stuff militating against you coming out. I know at my school, there was a guy who was doing some stuff, and the school covered it up. Which is very strange. It eventually came back at them. It eventually bit them in the ass, and like a bunch of people had to fall on their swords because of the whole covering up the pedophile scandal thing. But it only got a reckoning like decades and decades later because a bunch of people were brave enough to say this happened to me.
That's what similar what happened with this. It was all international schools, so like very, very wealthy families. All over the fucking world, there's kind of there's like an expat network to international schools, and I'm sure there's weird fucking ties with that in other places too. But I think it's a similar thing where like that probably enabled it to a big degree for like fear of upturning stuff in that. Like, I don't know.
It's the Catholic Church playbook. You send them to another parish. We can't get this out because it means, the bottom line of our industry or the bottom line of our school will be affected.
And this motherfucker went to, I would say, dozens of parishes across a couple of decades. Yeah. Maybe more than a couple of decades. Really fucked up. I can't remember how I got on this topic, but really fucked up situation.
Well, you're saying that like, this is why you need Rupi Kaur poems, to have those self-affirmations.
And to expose the fucking cabal of these motherfuckers.
I'm convinced, we joke, but probably somebody has been emboldened to come forth with a story of like of trauma in their own life because of a Rupi Kaur poem. I don't doubt that has actually happened.
For sure. Yeah. And again, there's value to, hey, express the thing that's in you that you're having difficulty getting out for shame or for whatever reason. And there's a good seed at the core of that, but just maybe when we read the poem, we're a little bit less funky about it.
Yeah, make it more universal. I think, if you can't just go with Rupi Kaur, I don't think would use the word molest in one of her poems.
No,
I think that would kill the vibe. And I think that's sort of the point. You don't want to be reminded of that.
Right. Don't kill the vibe.
Don't kill the vibe. Don't kill the Rupi Kaur vibe. Yeah, I don't think it's as sinister either as like, oh, we're building ourselves up to be individuals in such a way that we're losing ourselves. I don't know. Some people say that or talk about atomization, but it's hard to tell if that's true or I'm just freaking out about it in the moment. You know?
That's something I've felt kind of considerably. Because I've moved around so much. It's something I've felt in like certain cities I've lived in, where especially like living in like a big apartment building in a city like Nashville or something, where you don't really know any of your neighbors, and like you got friends in the city, but you got to drive to see them or whatever. I've experienced moments of like, God fucking damn, like I am really isolated here. I can't even like go borrow something from a neighbor because I don't know any of these motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. And that is the kind of thing that like, you know, pushes you towards spending more money, giving capitalists more money, basically. I think there is something to all of that. And, you know, also where people get isolated with their mental illnesses or health problems or whatever and don't reach out to other people. And I don't know, a culture of shame around mental health stuff like adds to that. And the whole self-sufficiency myth adds to that. I think there is, I'm glossing over like a bunch of different points right now, but TLDR, I think there is something to the whole atomization thing. I've felt a lot of that.
Yeah. I definitely feel it. It's just, but I guess that's also part of the atomization too. It's like, I'm not sure how much of my own feelings are universal, you know, and it's, I mean, that's why it's so weird to have Twitter and to have like a weirdly big platform on Twitter, because, I can clearly a bunch of people are responding to the shit that I'm putting out there, but right. It's all in the air. It's all in the ether. It doesn't matter. You know, that would, if like I went to a show or a concert or performed something and then a bunch of people came up to me after, if only like 20 people, like less than, if 10 people came up to me, 5 people came up to me and were like, hey, that was really good. That would mean more to me than, you know, however many thousands of.
Same.
Which is why you got to get out there, perform live, do live stuff, do art within a community.
That's my goal for the year.
Yeah, that should be mine as well. I'll try and do that shit.
Trying to perform in some capacity. So if you're in Chicago, if I can follow my ass, and I don't know if it's going to be music or doing a live podcast or a combination of these things. I'm trying to figure something out, but that itch has been back in a big way, and I don't think I want to go back to stand-up. I don't think that was quite the right avenue, but I want to be performing in some capacity.
Yeah. I stand-up is interesting. I've considered doing stand-up before, but I don't think I'm built for it either. It feels like you have to. It sort of tends towards aggressiveness. Not all the time. There are plenty of non-aggressive stand-ups, but I think a lot of them. Sort of the format of it is it's me versus the audience.
Sure. Yeah.
Where, I mean, that's what's interesting about it, because it is sort of a relational thing. Stand-up isn't just the comedian, it is the comedian and also the audience responding to the comedian as well. But to sort of like steel yourself against their very real reactions. You know, I get upset about the online reactions of people. Like if somebody was like booing me or not responding to me or heckling me, you know, I don't know if I would be able to deal with that sort of thing.
It's pretty intense. I'll say I got heckled maybe once, and the thing that's much worse than that is when you say something you've been working on for a while and you get silence.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got? What else we got here? Hey, you heard about this shit? It's a mortifying experience.
I think, yeah, especially because a lot of stand-up is supposed to be relatable. You know, you're trying to, does anybody else feel this way? Does anybody else? And then the silence confirms, okay, nobody else feels this way?
Fuck me, I guess.
I'm alone in the world? All right. All right, nobody is confirming this. Or, you know, maybe it's not that they don't feel that way. It's just you didn't phrase it in a way where they reacted.
Connected with people.
Yeah.
I had some fun doing it, though. But I don't know. You versus the audience, I think, is maybe the energy that I was feeling from there that didn't agree with me also. But I can't articulate exactly I mean, I guess there's the element too that it needs to be funny as kind of the focus of everything. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm trying to express some stuff. We talk about heavy topics on our show, and it's a comedy show. And I think that makes it easier to talk about and engage with without it just becoming like this deadly serious, overwhelmingly terrible thing that like talking about some of the issues around sexuality and relationships and stuff could become. So there is an avenue there that you can say meaningful things. But I guess that piece of it where like ultimately it has to be funny, that's where I was kind of like, there's stuff I want to say that I don't want to be funny though. I don't know, that's kind of what I'm working on now. Is like sometimes I just want to express really heavy shit because it feels really heavy, and I don't want it to be a funny thing.
Yeah. I think if you consider yourself a funny person, give yourself the space to be serious sometimes. I think a lot of funny people get tripped up thinking they always have to be on or they always have to be riffing, when sometimes you can just be, sometimes you can just be dark. Sometimes you can just be the Crow.
Yeah.
Oh, the Crow was pretty funny. He had a good sense of humor.
This ain't your mom's podcast.
All right, Dono, do you have any plugs? Where can they find you?
Check us out, Radio Free Tote Bag. It's me and my lovely co-host Audrey. We just hit 5 years last month of doing the show, which is fucking crazy to think about. Basically, you can write into us with your dating, relationship, sex, I don't know, mental health questions too. We get into a lot of different stuff, but mainly dating, relationship stuff. People write in each week. We answer the questions. You can find us at rftb.me is our website. Or if you look up Radio Free Tote Bag on like whatever app you use, it's the only thing that's called that because it's a very stupid name that I came up with. You will find it if you put that combination of words together. Radio Free Tote Bag. At RFTB Pod on Twitter. I'm at RFTB Dono. I think I'm unlocked right now. I think that's everything.
That's all the plugs.
Because like I'm trying to work on other stuff that I want to get out there in the coming months. So if any of the shit I've been talking about resonated with you, the more heavy topics, these are some of the stuff I'm trying to figure out the right medium to express through art. Maybe I'll be brave enough to post some writing soon. I've been doing a fuckload of writing. So at RFTB Dono. I post thirst traps too. If you're into that, sometimes I post. I got a crop top from Aiden Arata's merch drop recently that I'm working on self-esteem shit. I look hot as shit in that. Check it out at RFTB Dono. I've got a cool mustache.
Yeah.
I got long hair now.
Or in Rupi Kaur, I've got a cool mustache.
A cool mustache.
And long hair.
Fingers in my mustache. You found a crumb of my heart from the sandwich of our love.
Yeah, the sandwich.
Dog shit. Damn it.
Now,
I promise it's better than that.
It's as good or better than Rupi Kaur.
Big endorsement.
Yeah. Big endorsement. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.